All right, folks, it's a beautiful day at the old ballpark. So put your mustard on that dog, grab that bag of peanuts, sip that cold one, and let's meet our Tiger of the Day.
Today's Tiger video is Doug Bair. He is represented by a 1985 Donruss base card on card auto, slab by stats grading. If you're building the story of the 1984 Detroit Tigers, it's easy to spotlight the stars, the ace starters, the big bats, the famous closer. But championships aren't just won by the headliners. They're also won by the guys who answer the phone in the bullpen, jog in with inherited runners, and get outs that don't always make highlight reels. Today we're talking about Doug Bair, a veteran reliever who spent parts of 3 seasons in Detroit and quietly played his part on the 1984 World Series champions. Doug Bair, Charles Douglas Bair, was a right-handed pitcher who carved out a long MLB career by being reliable, durable, and ready for whatever role his manager needed. Over 15 major league seasons, he appeared in hundreds of games, mostly out of the bullpen, stacking up more than 580 appearances overall. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud. He was the kind of pitcher managers trusted because he could take the ball again and again and again. Bair's Detroit chapter begins in 1983 when he joined the Tigers and reunited with manager Sparky Anderson. And right away, Detroit used him a lot. In just part of that season with the Tigers, Bair made 27 appearances, posted a 3.88 ERA, and, here's the part that jumps off the page, he went 7-3 out of the bullpen with 4 saves. That's the kind of win-loss line you usually see from a starter, not a reliever. And then came one of the more unusual moments of his career. After making hundreds of relief appearances in the majors, Doug Bair made his first MLB start on August 23, 1983. And he didn't just get through it. He fired 6 shutout innings in a 2-0 win over the Texas Rangers. That's classic veteran bullpen guy energy. No drama, no panic, just outs. Now we fast forward to 1984, one of the most iconic seasons in Detroit Tigers history. That team wasn't just good, they were a machine. And a machine still needs every moving part working. In 1984, Doug Bair pitched in 47 games, went 5-3, and put up a 3.75 ERA, along with 4 saves. He wasn't the bullpen headline. That honor belonged to the bigger names fans remember. But Bair was part of the depth that let Detroit control games late. And when October arrived, he was on the stage. Doug Bair appeared in the 1984 World Series against the San Diego Padres, registered in 1 game. And here's the fun part. His World Series contribution is a perfect example of how baseball can hinge on one tiny sequence. In that appearance, Bair came in, struck out Carmelo Martinez, and the play helped trigger a strikeout/throw-out double play moment. One of those quick bursts of execution that can flip momentum and keep a championship team in control. It's not the kind of thing that becomes a statue outside the stadium, but it's absolutely part of how series are won. Baseball can be brutal, and the next year didn't go the same way. In 1985, Bair struggled, his ERA climbed, and Detroit used him less effectively. He pitched in 21 games, and the Tigers ultimately released him on August 22, 1985. That wrapped his Detroit run, not with a parade this time, just the reality of a sport that's always moving to the next arm, the next season, the next roster. Doug Bair's career is a reminder of how valuable a veteran reliever can be. Over his long MLB journey, he totaled 584 appearances, logged 81 saves, and finished with a 3.63 career ERA. And he wasn't just around contenders, he was part of them, credited as a 2-time World Series champion, including the unforgettable 1984 Detroit Tigers title. So when you think back to that championship season, remember, it wasn't only the stars, it was also the steady veterans who took their turn, got their outs, and kept the whole thing on the rails. Here's a lesser-known nugget to file away. Bair's World Series appearance is the kind of one batter, one moment cameo that still becomes a real page in team history. because the strikeout and the quick defensive sequence around it shows exactly what bullpen depth looks like in October baseball. And that's the Doug Bair story in Detroit, shorter than some Tigers careers, but stamped with the biggest credential of all, World Series champion. If you enjoyed this deep dive Tigers bullpen story, drop a like, subscribe, and comment.